game one action. What are you most looking forward to?
I am most looking forward to seeing how players interact with the new season and looking to see how they interact with these NPCs, with the gold, because that's not something we've talked about in this broadcast so far, is that there is gold in each arena game, in each competition game, but it only lasts for that game. So not as useful as it is in those public matches. So we'll have to keep our eyes on that. Anybody maybe hire an NPC, able to get maybe one of those exotic weapons at the end game, but I doubt that one's going to come through.
Yeah, I'm not really sure we'll be able to see any of that. We'll see the bounties. I think those are going to play a big factor. We are jumping into game here with our first duo. It's going to be Punisher and Zazma, and they're battling it out here at Holly Hedges as we move into the third zone here.
Yeah, but unfortunately, Punisher will fall down and Zazma going down, and it was none other than Cease, and we have the other perspective production team hanging in there with us and getting that beautiful perspective. Cease going down, his teammate, not exactly sure who he's playing with this time around, but they're named W Key Jesus, holding true. They W Key. Look, you mentioned bounties. They've got one on the map right now.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how players will use those and if it matters who the person is, because you can see the name that your bounty's on, right? So if I see a name that I'm like, I don't really want that person, do you try and avoid them? Or are you like, all right, if I get them out of my game fast enough, that'll be an easy dub for us, right?
Yeah, there is definitely a two-sided story when it comes to this. How quickly do you push in the end game? Definitely early game. I think if you are contested, you could get that bounty onto someone and get that 70 guaranteed gold, right? And then we talked about underrated drop spots. So Dirty Docks once again this season, I think is very underrated because there's actually a chance for 2 NPCs to spawn there. One of them being Brutus, and he'll upgrade your weapons for you. And also he'll offer either an epic or legendary variant of one of a gun. It could be an AR, it could be an SMG, it could be a shotgun as well. So there's a lot of opportunity in Dirty Docks to just really thrive. And with the amount of mats and ammo there, I'm looking for players that land really strong.
And we see Cease getting super aggressive here. The team was holding height. Cease jumping in boxes, playing this out. They didn't care that a team was on high ground. They want it all, and he boxes another player. Wow.
The piece control was there, and I'm actually surprised that he's going for this piece control strat. We will see this more in opens, but as we get into semis and finals, I definitely think we'll see a lot more SMG players come through, right? We know that legendary and epic SMG is really strong this time around, but Cease and his duo just going in, but oh no, his duo going to go down. Cease will get the wall, will get the edit, but he's going to get tagged in from behind, 96 HP. Will he get the drop down? He will, and he's just going to go for the edit, but these are not his builds, or rather the revive. I don't know if this is the play.
Oh, wow. And he does pick up that elim. So it's not just going to be a trade here. I would have thought that they would be trading with the opponent, both getting a player back up. But because Cease dropped, the opponent didn't. He scoops up an extra elim, and these guys are looking healthy as ever.
They are. And just like that, they're back in their old builds. They're back in this fight, and they don't look like they're stopping anytime soon. And you see, they know where this bounty is just because of where they're located on the map. There's only a couple teams over here, so easy shockwave into some piece control here from Cease. That player is stuck underneath the ramp. They got to make nice edits, but the piece control. Look at that. That was so smart by Cease. He edited the cone so he didn't take any damage from that shot and let his teammate just follow up.
What a play. The teamwork there. This is why you love duos. You have players that can support whatever plays you're making as a duo. We see it right there by Cease. And now another discussion is not going to take long. Cease is choosing to hold that legendary tack shotgun over the charge shotgun. There was a gold charge on the ground. Maybe he gave it to his teammate. But Clay, are you a tack or are you a charge guy?
Oh, I love the charge shotgun. I think that it is one of the more skillful shotguns in the game. Yes, I know. I know y'all love the pump, and I love the pump too. But I think the charge has an awesome element to the game. Just found out that his teammate is Summer there. I think his Twitter name Young Summer there. So got that information. So we know who Cease is playing with, and they look like they're playing so well and have been playing well. This is kind of reminiscent of Cease and Elevate back in the day, if you will. Allow me to make that reference. As they're going in, they're not yet to play in the open. Shockwave We'll send him out in the zone. They do have more shockwaves to get through, but Summer is going to go down and will be finished. And oh, what a shot by Cease to get a knock. And he's not even going to try to go for any of the loot from Summer. He's just going in.
He said, "You're going to take down my teammate. I'm going to take down yours." And he gets the knock there. Needs this full elim, and it comes through. He's all by himself, looking super healthy. The unfortunate thing is it's only him now, already 18 eliminations. So that's a huge first game and exactly what you want walking into these heats here, Clay. The big games, the huge starts, you know, gives you the confidence and also gives you a ton of points to be looking good for a qualification.
Exactly. You don't have to try to in your second, third, fourth game. You are already leading the pack with the big game, but everyone else that's a pro player here and everyone else in general is looking to make these same games as well. Sees had some pressure on top of him, but will get out with a nice shockwave. It is his last shockwave, though. Does have 27 bouncers in the inventory, though, so I don't think rotation is going to be that big of an issue for him.
Jeez, 27, and he's still going for elims. He's not done. He knows that there's players all around. There's 6 other players remaining, and the elims are going to continue to come. Now we get to see him, I guess, play a little more passive. Nope, he's going straight to high ground, and that player gets cracked. Now he's up, looking to make plays, getting in this box. He knows the player. What a play to jump in the box. Does get that elim to come through, but he has to get to zone here.
First, and he will. Actually could have stayed on high ground there if he built some cones, but wants to go down for elimination, wants to get as many as he can, but he's going to get tagged up from every which angle. He's in zone now. Doesn't have shockwaves to get out. One tick will do it, and he does end up going down. Third place will take him down, and a great run for Cease and Summer, but not what they wanted. They wanted that victory royale. Now over to Arab and their duo partner. Arab, you know, a personality to say the least, but very, very good here today.
Yeah, and we know Arab taking a different approach this season, going with the arena strategy, working on the fighting instead of playing scrims, and we'll see how that winds up playing throughout the season. Definitely going to work well at this stage in the season, considering it just came out about a week ago. But as the season goes on, can he continue to do this? But he can continue to pick up elims because he just grabs another.
He does. Playing with the roller, someone who is really good at fighting nonstop. And with Arab's coaching and mentality, he can kind of curb that in. So I think this is an epic pairing, and I'm really excited to see how they do.
Yeah, I've been watching a little bit of their gameplay, bouncing between duos and trios with some random fills in there. These guys have obviously been able to dominate the arena games that they've been playing, and we know that when it comes to endgame, the same principles apply from season to season. So Arab doesn't necessarily need to learn those this new season. It's going to be more the new plays with some bouncers, shockwaves, the rift fish, because we have a few new items introduced, especially the 0-point fish and the rift fish.
Indeed, and that's going to be so interesting to see in duos and even in trios how people play, how they prioritize them. Because if you and your trio or in your duo pick up one, for example, here, if Arab had one and DeRoller had one, it would be 4 whole zones that they would able to rift and not have to worry about rotations. So I'll be interested to see how those prioritizations come through if they choose to only carry 2 rather than 4. But then again, it's not a guaranteed spawn. So if you invest a lot of time into going for these fishing spots and you only get floppers and shieldfish, and that's all you get, you have no other game plan, it's going to be very interesting to see how you adapt.
Yeah, if I'm playing these, I'm definitely working some fishing in so I can get that mobility. It's not going to be as important in these early games. We see as we're jumping from stream to stream, these players are super aggressive and looking for tons of eliminations. When it gets later, it'll be a lot harder when you're in the higher elo lobbies and you're facing the other best players in the game, right? It's not necessarily just anyone that's in this match. As we see, Arab is not done yet. He wants to continue this aggressiveness onto another duo.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised with Arab. He's going to try to go for a snipe while the roller tries to spray it out. Would have been, hey, we've seen a lot of 200, 300 IQ plays out of Arab. However many IQ points you want to give the man. He is a very smart player. He's got the Inside of the Mind series to try to help some of these players learn how to play like he does. And He's one of the better players here today. He's just so good. But sometimes we saw Cease, who is a very, very good player, go down because they got too aggressive. So it's all about measuring that aggression and knowing when to stop and knowing when to come back from that fight.
And typically in these first couple of games, there is no chill for the aggression, right, Clay? You just keep going until someone else eliminates you. You take as many fights as possible, scoop up as many elims that are available. And then eventually, as we saw with Cease and his duo and who we were watching to start, Punisher, sometimes you get a little too aggressive and that's the end of the match. You go again, right? You get 10 games, you have plenty of time. As long as you're playing consistently with points, whether it be coming from elims or it be coming from placements, you have equal opportunities to qualify.
And even if you don't qualify in heat number 1, there still is heat number 2 coming later today. So you have that second opportunity. And look at what's coming out from Arab. Was trying to find this player and cut them off. He wasn't able to get there in time. The piece control will be there for him, but that player going to edit out, and another team going to get some damage onto Arab. He will take a little bit and back up, trying to get back to D-Roller. And this is what I'm worried about for them, is they both are very aggressive, and they both play a little bit different. So Arab, I hope, is taking a lot more of that leading role in this duo and kind of guiding D-Roller on what they need to do, how they need to play, is just dropping some mats for each other and waiting for that moving zone to start coming through. And hey, there's an NPC there. They have 169 gold here on Arab. Honestly, like, I know it's Mimi, but they could hire that NPC if it's an option.
I'm not sure. I haven't used them a ton as teammates for myself. Clay, are they strong enough to really make a difference within a fight?
Look, they're like the Stark bots from last season, right? But hey, if you have another person following you in your tarp and it just stays with you, if it takes a shotgun shot for you, like, that's 100% worth, right?
Yeah, you're right. You know, and I didn't even think about it from that perspective. If you just have someone to distract an enemy or even just scare them, so then you can throw a trap down with your teammate, that's another huge opportunity as well.
Yeah, I mean, and if you don't use the gold, you're going to lose it next game. So it doesn't carry over. Any opportunity to use this, I think we've not seen the full potential of it yet. That's why I brought up Dirty Docs earlier, because it does have the ability to upgrade your weapons. And, you know, they drop from bookshelves, from couches, from beds even, as well as elimination. So if you're contested, and of course, Dirty's one of those more final-oriented drop spots rather than an open drop spot, but if you can land there and get an upgraded to an epic pump, or epic attack shotgun, not a pump, rip the pump, we all know that, or an epic charge or a legendary charge, you're looking so good. And not to mention somebody's gun, the beautiful fishing spots that Dirty Docs offers.
Ooh, the oh so sweet fishing spots. That's been my favorite spot to land over the past couple of seasons. If you ask anyone I play with, I tend to like to go Dirty. So huge fan. Don't share it with the people though. You know, that's my spot. Let's keep that to myself.
Hey, gotta let them know in case they're wondering, well, hey, where do you drop? What can I do? Can you do differently? Always drop spots. Experimentation is really, really good in my opinion, because you don't want to be too worried about landing at the same spot, because we've seen amazing players be very, very, very stubborn about where they're dropping, and they end up getting no qualifications because of it. We've seen it from some of the best duos. We've even seen it. We started off today with Punisher. We've seen that from him as well. He's very stubborn about where he wants to land, and sometimes it just doesn't go his way. So if you have a backup drop spot and you're able to change on the fly in tournaments, I think the adaptability will get you very far.
Yeah, and I think the best example of that happened recently in NA East with the trio FNCS winners. We had Miro, Day, and Reverse 2K land basically where we are in this map, or part of the map right now. A really scuffed landing, and they did it. It didn't matter what the loot was. They were scuffed game after game and just took care of it and won the trio FNCS. So as much as people like to say, oh, your drop spot matters, as long as you can get enough loot, you're big chilling.
Hey, and I want to point out, I talked about the dam down there, the hydro dam that is, and interesting note, somebody's gun, the teams that came out of hydro dam during FNCS had the best average placement of any drop location. And It had more wins come out of it than any other POI outside of course, Doom's Domain and Stark Industries. So, you know, these drop spots, while there's no really big POIs, these mythic POIs this season, right? You can get a lot of good loot, and that Hydro Dam down there, a guaranteed RPG is so good. But now back to Arab, who did take a lot of damage trying to get back in his zone. You see the RPG in his inventory, so I'm wondering if that's where he's dropping or able to pick it up on rotation. But unfortunately, the roller will fall. And now he does have 8 elims, but how many more can he pick up? Running out of builds on the low ground, spray coming through. Not a lot of time for Arab to pop a shield. He's gonna have to back up, maybe go for a shotgun shot here. He does have that legendary tactical shotgun in his inventory in the RPG. He can do a 1-2 combo there, but a zone's not gonna stop moving. He's got to make a play now. He's got to make it quickly. About 170 builds remaining. RPG going up is gonna try to drop high ground. It will. There's the combo punch there. Will he get the elimination? No. Shockwave gonna throw that player up, but will he get the spray to eliminate him? And he won't. How many players are remaining? Those is the question. Only a couple, a handful, and just gonna get stolen away.
Now he's on high ground, losing his HP, almost knocks himself. Big hits come through. He knocks one player, but not able to get the second one. And so close, yet still so far for Arab.
What a close game. Now, that definitely would have been a Twitter clip if he ended up getting that victory royale for both him and, of course, the Dreamhack FN socials. But now we're over to Clicks and Bizzle. I think a fan favorite. I think everybody wanted to see them when Kelly asked her who we wanted to see in the chat. And I think this was like everybody's answer. Maybe only one picked Mercs in the chat. So interesting to see how well they do. This was a very interesting pairing and a very cool pairing to see, because we saw Clicks be this really aggressive solo player, not a team player in the earlier seasons. And then Bizzle kind of took him under his wing. Not that Bizzle, Clicks is not a great player, but he needed that little bit of elderly coaching to say, hey, no, follow this, do this. Hey, don't push that. You don't got the HP to do that. And just that kind of little bit of advice meant to an epic duo pairing.
Yeah, Clay, we know the legend of Bizzle is one of the most successful players in Fortnite history, especially early on, and he's continued it. Clicks, I mean, if we're making a list of the most mechanical or best skilled players, Clicks is easily going to be on that list. So comparing and pairing the two, it's a match made in heaven, and these guys should continue to succeed. We've seen it work in different game modes, aka when Bizzle was coaching Clicks, or when they've played together in the past. Now has the chemistry come through to allow them to succeed here in duos?
It has indeed. And Bizzle just so good at team modes, even solo modes. Back into the World Cup days where he qualified, I believe, for it was semis, maybe even finals, not even using a weapon. If you remember those days with the baller in the game, those were some good times. But we got more good times here at the Dreamhack stream, of course. I'm excited to see how they do in this end game. Only a couple of eliminations, and a nice night by Clicks. Wasn't able to get the headshot though. Would have wanted that. I don't know if they would have been able to capitalize on that. So a good amount of damage nonetheless goes through.
And we're starting to see our first zone towards the center of the map, Clay. We talked about it pre-show, but the sand and these 0-point fish are going to really be a game changer when it comes to end games. How many people have played with the sand in stacked end games when we get to that point, or have even learned how to play with the 0-point fish? But these guys are jumping right on somebody.
They are. Nice damage coming through from Clicks. The piece control, always one of his specialties here, but he's getting separated from Bizzle, who's trying to work a different angle from him, like still trying to go in. They want these eliminations, but they got to be careful. Big amount of players all around. The shots come through, though. Piece control let him out for just a little bit, and that shockwave going to send that player flying, but a little bit of a misplay. Actually, I think it's going to get a wall placed behind him, and he does accidentally place it himself. And now that player would have had time to heal up, pop some minis, so he's got to slow down. Got to be careful. Nice white tag there, though, but sprayed from behind. Oh, no, he goes down really low, but the pressure seems to stop.
Yeah, it looks like Bizzle has been able to get over to him and at least subdue the opponents for a second. These two are super aggressive. 5 eliminations on the game, but not in a great position compared to where they were. They were the aggro players before, but Clicks doesn't care. He's continuing that aggressiveness, and the player turns this one around with that SMG spray as Bizzle seems to be fighting the opponent up above, and this comes down to now how quickly can these two close this fight before another third party comes through and Bizzle gets knocked.
Oh, that is unfortunate, but he still got those god-like communications coming through, so not too bad for them. And look, we're over to Glacier and Tracy as we saw them in the sand there for a moment as they ended up hopping out. So I'm very intrigued to see how they play with this the sand, how they use it. Especially, I told you, hey, if you're crazy enough at the end game, right, it's moving zones, you just go for a sand rotation. I'm here for it, but a nice knock there by Glacier.
Yeah, I saw, I think it was Benzie Fishy in a duo game yesterday, was in moving zones, pretty stacked. There was at least 20 people in the moving zones, and he just kind of popped into the sand, was able to rotate a moving zone in the sand. So it'll definitely work. It's just a matter of, is it well executed and who is doing it? But Glace is getting on to another loot pile here, scooping up some extra mats and all that good stuff. And now we're up on high ground looking for some more action.
Ooh, and they're not stopping anytime soon. They are going so aggressive as a shockwave going to send that player away. I believe this is the exact same match, if I'm not mistaken, that we see Clicks and Bizzle in. This will be interesting to see who, if they were part of the duo that took down Bizzle. We don't know where Clicks ended up, but no, Trashy going to get taken down just like we saw Bizzle fall. They got split up, they got separated, and a duo just took them down.
And it, like you said, this is the same game. So great to see multiple perspectives. The production team doing some awesome work behind the scenes to bring multiple POVs to you guys of the same match. Now they're going to have to be a little more passive. We saw the aggressiveness, we talked about it, but when you're a solo going into duos, it's a lot harder to be jumping into boxes and going for those elims.
It is, but you know, I think a lot of these players have that, you know, prowess to do so, to hop into these boxes and not really worry about whether there's a duo in there, especially with the fact that the Epic and Legendary SMG are back in the game. It adds so much more comfortability for a lot of these players. As a reminder, that SMG has been around for a while, dating all the way back, I think, into Season 5 on the original chapter there. So a lot of fallback for them if they do jump in. You don't have that one pump capability anymore, but the swap weapon meta is definitely going to come to fruition here yet again in this season, as we see some nice shots there by Glace, backing some players up on the edge of zone. Will he find the elimination? No, it doesn't seem like a top 7 do come through. And look, it's top 7 and there's 8 players alive. That means there's only one duo in this match.
Hey, and that's great news for our guy Glace right here. He is not the only one flying solo in this match, but will this duo be able to take it over and win this game? Maybe they realized that there was a ton of solos in this match. Maybe they didn't. If they were able to, you have to think that's a huge mental boost going into this end game. We see Glace looking around, trying to find some extra loot, gonna reuse this bounce pad. Smart play there, not something you always see. And he cracks height with a little shot and then deciding to play low ground here.
Yeah, interesting to like look towards high ground, but then not actually go for it there. So I'm intrigued to see if he's gonna go back for it. And you see the shockwave in the inventory. He's gonna save it. As you see, that is a very high ground. It's not your average Fortnite high ground, like a little bit more high, and you could do that with duos this season just because of the lack of mobility going upwards. As we do get a nice little fly in there, Trashy and Glace had more eliminations against the top 5 duos during Dreamhack now than in November rather than any other team. So you could call them the King Slayers, if you will.
Hey, we can. I mean, we can do whatever we want, Clay. We're out here casting this. Now, still only one player has gone down since we checked it out. And a nice, cool feature that if you haven't realized, you can now see how many teams remain as well as the players when you pull up your map. Not something we've been able to see in the past outside of broadcast. So awesome to see Fortnite introducing that into the game.
It is indeed, and I'm just really excited to see exactly how Glace does in this moment. A solo gonna get beamed out of the air. That was a really good aim there, but I don't think he was able to grab those mats. Okay, no, it is actually going to grab the it's an RPG. I talked about the RPGs. I want to see him more used. And as a solo, the clutch potential is there, but no, he doesn't grab it.
Oh, he could have, Clay. He was looking right at it, decides not to. 5 other players remaining. He's looking up on high ground, looking for this player and the aggressiveness. Jumps in a box for a 200 brick. Not exactly the best play. Oh, beams coming through, but he's not going to make it through for that elimination. He has to watch out because he wasn't the only one firing at that player. Now he's in a position of hold my walls because everyone is looking at me. Still playing the high ground as players continue to move through. More beams coming through by Glaze. Can he finish this out?
I think he can. I think everyone remaining is a solo, able to just get beams down on the entire lobby. You will maintain the high ground. It's going to be a very low high ground, though, as it is going up a little bit of a hill. Dump fatigue is going to set in, though, for the brief moment, but he's got a great angle just to keep spraying down. But this player, not going to let him have an opportunity to get any of those angles in zone to keep pulling away. He's going to get boxed up. The piece control is there. He's going to have to give up high ground with 2 builds remaining. What's he going to be able to do? Drop down might come through here. The shots go through. There's an elimination. Can he grab any of those mats? Can he sneak behind? Yes, he can. Shots go through. That player's wide. Elimination goes over his way. So he does finally able to pick one up there. Seems like everyone tried to take him away from him. Bouts are going to be used, though, to take high ground. And this may be able to secure the victory royale for him. But that player going to drop in the zone, actually going to edit him down. What a smart play. Down to 100, maybe 88 effective HP. He shoots him down. Where is he hiding? In the bush? But no, he's able to pick up the victory royale. 217 points on top of that.
Yeah, we're going to throw it to a quick break, but be back with you guys for some more awesome Fortnite action right after this.